fortunate enough to play multiple roles, in my tenure. Started as a developer, and now, I'm a senior solution architect. I played multiple roles like enterprise architect, technical architect, etc. I'm a Salesforce application and a system architect certified. Yeah, so that's pretty much brief about me. Also, I'm an active speaker. Okay, in the community forums, Chennai community, Kanyakumari community now. Okay, so that's pretty much about me. Yeah, so with that we can get started. So it's a 90 minutes session, right? So what I'll do is, let me first share my screen, then I'll just walk you through a few things. Okay, so this is what you can expect. Okay, in our session today. Just a minute. All
Your
right.
screen is visible.
My screen is visible, right? Super. All right.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk about Lightning Web Components, right? So more than talking, so we can do a hands-on. Okay. So the point is, right. If you want to if you want to learn something new, or get yourself if you want to learn something new, the best way is to get your hands dirty. Yeah, so that's really applicable for the Lightning Web Components as well. Okay, so we'll talk about what Lightning Web Component is, some of the basic fundamentals that you should be aware about Lightning Web Component, and then we will learn some of the concepts in Lightning Web Component, something that as a fresher, right, who's very new to Lightning Web Component aware should be aware of. Okay, so we'll talk about such features in Lightning Web Component, and then we will we will talk also. We will do an hands-on. Okay, we will build a Lightning Web Component. We'll pick up a use case, build a Lightning Web Component, and thereby learn the concepts. So in that way, you can keep the concepts fresh in your memory. Okay, yeah. So that's the plan for today. So we will start with things that you should be aware of as a developer. Then I'll just quickly skim through what you are going to see in this entire 90-minute session. Okay, yeah. So what we will do is, we will talk about essentials. We will talk about the development tools options. We will pick up a use case like this. Okay, then we will learn all the concepts. Okay, anatomy, how to create a component, adding component to a Lightning page, data binding, so how you can able to access Salesforce record. Okay, so you'll also talk about Lightning lifecycle loops, how it is used in the implementation. Okay, then talking about data again, how I can use Apex code, etc., etc. Okay, so we'll do all these things. Okay, in our session today. Okay, so it's a 90-minute session, so we cannot spend a lot of time, in going through each and every concept, right? Yeah. However, I'll try my best to explain the concepts, right, in a simpler way, so that you can be comfortable with. Okay. So if you have questions, put it on the chat window. We'll happy, I will be more than happy to respond and clarify your questions. Okay. So this is the plan for the next 90 minutes. Okay. I hope everyone is clear. Yeah. So with that, let's ask this first question. What is this Salesforce Lightning Web Component? Yeah. So think about it. So Salesforce, right, as started as a CRM product, correct, a decade ago, correct, and now Salesforce is actually, a pretty big ecosystem, just like how Google has, just like how Microsoft products you have, right? Salesforce has got a lot of products in there, in their ecosystem. Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, B2B commerce, B2B, B2C commerce, Omni Studio, industry specific solutions, etc., etc. Correct? Yeah. So there are a lot of products available in Salesforce. Correct? And if you remember the the motto, or what Salesforce always advocates is, try to use the product feature as is, and try not to customize much, isn't it? There is a reason to it, because we are paying a lot of money as a licensing cost to Salesforce, right? So that's one of the, so we wanted to get the benefit, right, very quickly for the money that we isn't it. So that's why Salesforce always advocates us try to use platform features as is. Okay, try to configure, and then configure to match your customer needs or match your implementation, right? But life is not simple. Okay, there are situations, which demands us to customize our implementation. Correct? Yeah. So that is where Salesforce Aura component comes into the play. Salesforce Lightning components come into the play, and nowadays, we have Salesforce Flow, one of the robust no code solution. Correct? So you can build a lot of stuff in Salesforce Flow. Yeah. So but anyways, but these things, will help you to enhance your implementation. Yeah, because not everything can be achieved just by simple configuration in Salesforce. Yeah. So so that's where, the Salesforce Lightning component comes into the play. Okay. Something that's been in use, right, in the last few years. Correct? So before that, we had this Aura. Correct? Even still we are using Aura. Okay. uh, but again, Salesforce, emphasizes and advocates us to start using Lightning Web Component. We are seeing a lot of projects where the migration is happening. Okay, there are existing VF pages, there are existing Aura components. The migration is happening to the Lightning Web Component for better performance, for better maintenance, etc., etc. Okay, but for me as a Lightning Web Component developer, what is that I should learn? Okay, so this Lightning Web Component, okay, it's nothing but a JavaScript framework. Okay, it's a JavaScript framework. Okay, so JavaScript has its own history. Okay, it's been there, it's been there since 1990. Okay, so it's a long history. Okay, so this is something that, built using JavaScript framework. Okay, so one of the analogies what we say is, right, one of so the analogy that what we typically say is, right, this JavaScript framework. So you might, you might have heard about Angular JS. You might have heard about React JS. You know, all these are frameworks built using JavaScript. Okay, so it's nothing but JavaScript. That's it. Okay, so the analogy that what we used to give is, think about ice cream. Okay, you walk into ice cream parlor, correct? So you wanted to order a scoop of ice cream, right? So let's say you order vanilla ice cream, a scoop of ice cream, right? That's the base flavor, correct? On top of which you add additional flavors, right? Choco chips, sugar syrup, honey, etc., etc. So this is, so that gives a different flavor altogether, but the underlying thing is just the vanilla ice cream. Correct? So this is what frameworks is all about. Okay, so a bunch of code that you write in JavaScript. Okay, you create a lot of reusable codes, and then you give a name and call it a framework. Okay, so that is what Salesforce has done. Salesforce has built, a framework by a name, Lightning Web Components. Okay, and if you look at the framework code that Salesforce has written, it is available in GitHub, by the way. Okay, so it's written in plain JavaScript. Okay, so when you peel that, you will simply see only JavaScript code. Okay, yeah. So that is the reason, as a developer, you should have knowledge about HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, because we will be, writing a lot of JavaScript code. Your entire business logic will be written in JavaScript. Okay, for the UI, I want to show something like this. Yeah, I want to show an image, I want to show a text, something like this, right? How do I do it? I can able to build that using HTML. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, so HTML is required, and CSS, a styling. So it actually, it's like applying makeup. Okay, so you have this HTML where you have the page where you want to show an image, you want to show something in bold, a different color, etc., right? So it's more like you wanted to enhance the aesthetics of your page. How do you do that? Using CSS. Okay, so the fundamental knowledge of the basics of, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS will help you a lot whenever you build something using Salesforce Lightning Web Components. Okay, yeah. So two things are key takeaways that you should, keep in mind when you start learning building Lightning Web Component. Okay, one is the underlying code. Everything is in JavaScript. Okay, so that's very important. Yeah, and number two. Yeah, so um, so the way how it works inside Salesforce, it's a little different. Okay, um, uh, so the thing is, right, the JavaScript framework, the thing is, as I said, right, so you have a plain vanilla ice cream, on top of which you add flavors. So just like that, Salesforce has taken the base, JavaScript, on top of which it introduced a lot of reusable code for us, a lot of reusable code. Okay, yeah. So what do I mean by that? Yeah, so think about it. Think about Excel for as an example. So we use Excel every day, correct? Yeah, for one reason or the other, correct? So in Excel you have functions. If you want to, if you want to sum up multiple values, I can just use sum as a function, right? If I want to, find a difference between two dates, what do? I can use date difference function, correct? All these are reusable codes, correct? That Microsoft Excel, as is written inside the Microsoft Excel, right? Just like that, Salesforce has taken the base vanilla JavaScript, and on top of which they built a lot of reusable methods and functions, okay, or code basically, which we can use to build our components in a much faster and efficient way. Okay, how do I do it, Rajesh? That's what we're gonna see it in the upcoming, upcoming session. Okay, yeah. So I hope this is clear, right? About what you should be aware of, right? And what is this Salesforce Lightning Web Component altogether, right? Yeah. So let's move on. Yeah. So when I say JavaScript, right, is there something that I should be, focusing on? Yeah, that would be the next question, right? Yes, because JavaScript itself is a, a vast programming language. Okay. Yeah. And as I said earlier, right, JavaScript has its own history. Okay, 30 years of history. Okay, and there are a lot of new ways in which you can able to write code in JavaScript. Okay, so all these JavaScript concepts are used in Salesforce Lightning Web Component development. Okay, you will hear the terms like decorators. You will hear the terms like events. You will hear the terms like slots, promises, etc., etc. Okay, all these concepts are coming from JavaScript. Okay, so that is the reason when you learn JavaScript, okay, you have to focus more on these concepts. Okay, other concepts are well good. You can certainly focus on, but pay more attention, okay, to these concepts in JavaScript, so that when you write Lightning Web Component, you will find it very easy, okay, when you start with the coding. Okay, yeah, fine. Now we know that, okay, I need to focus more on these set of concepts, right? Okay, where do I go and then start it if I am new to JavaScript, right? If you know JavaScript already, well and good, you know right away you can just jump into Lightning Web Component development. Yeah, but what if I'm new? Correct, I have to start somewhere, right? Don't worry. So you have couple of very good resources to learn. W3 schools for the beginners. Okay, very very um, simple and easy way to learn JavaScript. Okay, yeah. So you can just see this, right? Yeah. So whatever I have just talked about, whatever the essentials that I have mentioned here, right? Everything is available right here. Okay. So this is one good place where you can just start as a beginner. Okay. If not, okay, if not, you know JavaScript, but you wanted to um, you wanted to learn the new or the new features available in JavaScript, right? Yeah, so you can use javascript.info, this one. Okay, so this is so this particular website helps you to understand each and every concept in a much better way. Okay, with very easy to consume examples. Okay, you can find all the concepts available right here. Okay, so yeah, so I was just talking about slots, right? There is a separate section for that. I was talking about events. It's there. Shutterdown and events. I was talking about let's say for loops, etc., etc. You can find very easy to use, easy to consume code. Okay, so these two are great resources. Okay, and you can certainly use these two resources to learn JavaScript. Okay, yeah. So cool. Now we know where to go and then enhance our JavaScript knowledge, right? Right. So now we'll talk about Lightning Web Component development tools. Yeah. So there are few options available. Okay, yeah, the option 1 and option 2 highlighted here, right? Both are completely free. Okay, but option 3 is not free. There is something called code builder. Okay, so which is available only for licensed customers. Okay, So the reason, right? The reason for this is for option one. Okay, you have to install list of softwares. You need Salesforce CLI. Okay, I'll check it. This is a open source. Okay, so you can go to the Salesforce CLI, download the version based on your OS. Okay, similarly, you can install Node.js. You can install VS Code, which is an IDE. Okay, so this is a VS Code. Yeah, so I'll close this one for now. Yeah. So VS Code, Git client is optional again. So you need VS Code, Salesforce CLI or SFDX we call it. Yeah. And then once you have these, right, once you have these software, right, then you are good to go with the development. Okay. So why do I need all these softwares? First of all, right? Because unlike other, um, unlike other components, right? For example, if I want to create an Apex class, I can go to the org and then start using dev console, create a new class. If I want to create an Aura component, I can go to the org and then start creating. I can go to the org and then start creating, the new Aura component. But here in Lightning Web Component, that is changed. It's source-driven model. Okay, which means I have to use these tools to create Lightning Web Component outside of my org. Yeah, I'll create components outside of my org, and then I will use these, tools to move the code into the org so that I can see the output. Okay, yeah, that's the reason. So that's the fundamental change that you see between Aura component development and the Lightning Web component development. So Lightning Web component should always be developed outside of the org and then deployed. We will just see that in just few moments. We will just see that. Okay. Option two is Lightning Studio Chrome extension. Okay. So moment we log into an org, I'll just show you how this also works. Okay. Option three is Code Builder. So this helps you to do away with any software installation. Okay, code builder, it's more like you have a machine with all pre-installed software like Salesforce CLI, Node.js, VS Code, everything available, Git, everything is available in that machine. Okay, you are given access to the machine and then you are able to develop uh, at once. Okay, using this code builder. Okay, so it's not available for us to see. Okay, yeah, even the beta version was there, but it is now it is GA. Okay, it's available only for the licensed Salesforce customer, so we cannot use this option. So we'll try to use option one and option two, okay, today. Yeah, so with that okay, any questions? Yeah, I will certainly share, Syed. Yeah, so we'll just do that. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. There are new enhancements coming in. Okay, yeah, every release you can certainly do that. Recording will be shared. Yes, 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 cool, good. Let's go here. Okay, as I said, let's learn by doing. Okay, so there are a lot of concepts in Lightning Web Component that we should discuss, we should be aware of. Okay, but there are key fundamental concepts. Okay, uh, concepts as in I want to show something on the page, something like this. Yeah, I want to access Salesforce data, very 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 common. Okay, I want to change the look and feel of my Lightning Web Component so that it works both in the desktop as well as in the mobile app, in the mobile, right? Yeah, so these are bare minimum things that we always do, be it any component. Okay, we always do that, so let's focus on that. Okay, once you understand that fundamentals, right, then you'll be so comfortable, okay, in continuing your journey and then learn other concepts that are available in Lightning Web Component. Okay, so that's what we wanted to do it in our community session. Okay, so that we can, so we wanted to just enable you to start the journey, okay, using this session, and then you can continue the journey all by yourself. Okay, yeah, so to do that, this is the use case that we wanted to implement. Okay, so imagine that for a company, the sales team, right, is looking to see contact roles this way. Okay, so they wanted to see the list of contract roles on the opportunity page. Okay, so this is a business user, this is a decision maker. Yeah, so why is it needed? Because the opportunity owner can interact with the decision makers more than the business user, right? Because it's a business deal at the end of the day, the opportunity, correct? Yeah. If John Doe, the opportunity owner can talk to this decision owner, okay, through email or giving a call, etc. Right? Then it helps, John Doe to close this opportunity in favor. Correct? Yeah. So that's the reason, the contact roles widget, okay, or a component, right, is required to build. Okay, we want to do that. Okay. Yeah. By default, we don't have an appearance. We don't have a component, something like this. Yeah. So we have contact roles, but this look and feel is not available. So let's do that. Okay, let's do it so that we are helping, the sales guys or the opportunity owner to close the deal. Okay, in their favor. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do it. Not only that, we wanted to show some icons right in the bottom. Okay, so that if John Doe, right, the opportunity owner wants to send an email right from here, it's possible. Or if John Doe wants to make an appointment, right? So that is also possible. So let's introduce few links as well, okay, or options to quick actions or options to communicate with the contact roles. Okay, so this is the use case that we are going to solve today. Okay, and by doing this, we will learn the core concepts of LWC. Okay, yeah. All right, now it's 10:27. Let's see how much we can able to catch up in the next 1 hour. Okay, the very first thing, LWC anatomy. Yeah. So there's something called the component bundle naming convention, etc., etc. Okay. So before we talk more about Lightning Web component anatomy, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and then open VS Code. You can just see this, right? This is my VS Code, a software that I've already installed. Okay. Yeah. I'll first close everything. Okay. So this is how the IDE will look like. Okay. Yeah. When you install the VS Code. Okay, again, this is a free one that you can download from Microsoft. Okay, the links are also when we shared this one, right? You will find the link as well. Okay, when I click on VS Code, it takes you code.visualstudio.com download. Okay, yeah, based on your OS, just install it. That's all it is. Yeah. Okay, so now my VS Code is installed, right? The very next thing what I would do is I will see whether my system has Salesforce CLI or Salesforce, SFDX, Salesforce Development Experience. Okay, how do I check that? Go to this terminal, click on New Terminal. Okay, when you are here, just search for SFDX hyphen version. We'll wait for the response. Okay, this is a simple command. Uh, yeah, yeah. Did I spell it wrong? Okay, so now I can just see the version is 2.15.9. Okay, so the moment you see some message on the screen on the terminal, okay, it means that your Salesforce CLI is installed. Okay, why do I need the Salesforce CLI in the first place? Because remember, as I said earlier, you will create Lightning Web Components, build Lightning Web Components in outside of the org in your local machine. Then you'll deploy that org or move that code to your org to see the output. Okay, so for me, in order for me to build this simple component, right, I build it right here in my local machine. Then I connect my VS Code and then move this code to org. Okay, then I can just see the output. Okay, that's what I'm going to do it. And for that purpose, the Salesforce CLI is acting as a bridge, a middleman. Okay, yeah. So that's where the Salesforce CLI is coming in, and then that's where it is. That's why we need to ensure that the Salesforce CLI is installed. Okay, so just say SFDX hyphen version or SF hyphen version. Both will work. So the above one was, the old, the earlier. Yes. Yeah, so the above one was the legacy way of writing this commands. Okay, now you can just use fx as well. Okay, good. So Salesforce CLI is also installed. Good, right? The next thing is, I wanted to develop a code, Lightning Web Component code to, for this component, right, to build this component, isn't it? Yeah. So before I do anything, okay, before I do anything, so what I'm gonna do is in my VS Code, okay, I go to this view, command palette, okay. So you will find certain commands that start with SFDX, okay, yeah. So you can just say SFDX. You can find certain commands, right? Yeah, right. So this is, so this is, so this comes up, okay, only if, okay, only if you go to the extension. Okay, look for Salesforce extensions pack. Okay, so it is more like your Play Store, Android Play Store, right? So in your VS Code, you have these extensions like Chrome extensions, right? So these are a lot of extensions built in. Okay, so we are going to install this Salesforce extension pack. Okay, that's coming from the Salesforce. Okay, so I have already installed. Okay, otherwise what you get is you get this install option. Okay, yeah. So you can choose the Salesforce extension pack. Just ensure that this is a extension built by Salesforce team. Okay, just install it. That's it. The moment you install, okay, then if you go to view command palette, you will just start seeing this. When you search for SFDX, you will just start seeing the comments. Okay, unless the extension is installed, you will not see these comments. Okay, yeah. So it's important. Okay, there are three things we discussed now. One is VS Code, because I want to create Lightning Web Component outside of Salesforce. Number one. Number two, I need SFDX because it's more like a bridge, correct, between my VS Code and my org, so that the code I write in VS Code can be pushed or moved to the org. Correct? Yeah, move to the org. Correct? For that purpose, I can use SFDX. Correct? So instead of writing commands, something like this in the terminal, okay, yeah, I wanted to do all the code movement, everything, right, using I can use it using this extensions. Okay, so for that purpose, we went to this extensions. We were looking for this Salesforce extension pack. Click on it and then click on install. That's it. Okay, hardly it takes a minute. Hardly takes a minute to get the extensions installed. Okay, once that is done, come here and then search for SFDX. Okay, if you find a few commands on this list, that's it, you're all good. Otherwise, don't worry, just restart your VS Code. It automatically, right, picks it up. Okay, yeah. Hope that is clear. Okay, so these are the prerequisites for you to start with your development. Okay, yeah. So let me go here. Let me close this. Yeah, I'll go to view command palette. Okay, I'll search for SFDX. There is a command called there is a command called create object, create project. Okay, so let me create a project. Click on create project. On the bottom it says activating extensions, right? So at times, right, it takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds as well to activate the extensions. If you don't see options like this appearing, don't worry, keep trying the same command. Okay, keep trying same command. Go to view command palette, SFTX create project, again and again. Okay, I'll try this with manifest. Okay, yeah. So you can just see this, right? So it appears here. Otherwise, okay, don't worry, keep trying. Okay, and I'm seeing three options, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna you go with the standard option. Let's click on standard. It's asking for a project name. Okay, so why is it happening? I'll explain it very shortly. I'm gonna give a project name. Let's say this is LWC uh, community demo. Okay, that's my project name. Hit enter. So now it says that, okay, Rajesh, you are saying your project should be created. Where do you want to keep all the project files? When I say project files, I meant, the LWC code or any Apex class code that I'm writing, any validation rules that I'm creating. So I want that to be stored as a file in my local machine. Okay. So that's why it's asking me where can I map it. So I'll just simply go here and then, look for desktop. Okay, so right now I don't have anything in this particular folder, right? So I'll just click on create project. So it's trying to create a project for me. Okay, so behind the scenes, our bridge, the Salesforce CLI, right, it's doing the job. Okay, I just triggered that project creation using this commands. Okay, that's it. Yeah, close this. So now when you see this, right, there are bunch of folders added. i'll go to the I'll go to the local folder. Okay, just to show you. Yeah, so this is the project name that I had given, right? Yeah, when I double click, you can just see a lot of folders created automatically, right? So basically this is a skeleton. Okay, skeleton of Salesforce project. Okay, which is nothing but organizing files. Okay, So what do we do typically in our yeah. So what do we do typically in when we want to manage our photos, right? Yeah. So we create folders, correct? So this is a personal folder. This is a personal photo. This is my family photo. This is a family family folder, personal folder. Then with friends. Then with during party, whatever. You just create multiple folders and then organize your folders, correct? For better access. Just like that Salesforce says that I'll give you a project, a structure, okay, where you can keep the files, okay, in an organized way. What does it mean? If I go to the main folder, okay, Force app, under which I can just see multiple folders, right? There is a separate folder called LWC. So whatever LWC component code that I'm going to create, I can put it right here so that Salesforce, so that the files are organized. Okay, yeah. If I create a new class file, then I can put the class file right here. Okay, I can do that. Yeah. So this way I can keep my files organized. That's the reason Salesforce is giving us a project. Okay, a skeleton. That's all it is. There is no code written in it. Okay, or no files in it. All are empty. All are empty folders. Okay, but a way to organize it, just like how we organize our photos, correct, for better access, isn't it? Yeah. So now we have the project created, but not yet started with the development, isn't it? So before I move forward, um, how we see changes in live server internet deployment. Yes, there is a plugin available, Ashish. Okay, there is a local server plugin. So when you install that plugin, okay, what happens is you don't need to move your code from here, from the VS Code to the org, then refresh the org, right, to see the changes. You can also you can able to see it in the local laptop or desktop itself. It's possible. I'll give you the a plugin, okay, plugin name which you can also use. Okay, yeah. Anyways, let's get back. Yeah. So now we have a project created. What is the next thing? I want to create a component, correct? Yeah. So this is where the LWC taxonomy comes into the play. Okay. Yeah. The LWC, the anatomy comes into the play. Okay. So what happens is, right, when I create a lighting web component, I'll get minimum three files. Okay, bare minimum three files. There will be more files as well, but bare minimum important files needed. Okay, so that's why it is called bundle. Okay, how does it look like? Yeah, so let's go here to this VS Code. Okay, I'll go to view again, go to command palette. Okay, you can just see a lot of commands such as sfdx, right? I'll search for lightning. Okay, so when I search for lightning, I'm seeing the first option, right? Create lightning web component. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'll click on lightning web component. So I need to give a name to my file, right? I'll just say contact role grid. Okay, yeah, I'll name it as contact role grid. Yeah, and this is where you should be, you should pay more attention. Okay, the first thing is the name of a lightning web component should always follow camel casing, which means the starting letter of the file, of the file name, right, should always be lowercase. So you cannot create a lightning web component something like this. Okay, it will fail. Okay, always start with the lower case. Okay, yeah, that's what camel casing is all about. Okay, so in this name I have three distinct words. I have contact word number one, role word two, and grid word three. Okay, so for example, if it is an hello world, right? Yeah, I would give hello the word one, world word two. Okay, yeah. So the starting letter, okay, determines that it is a separate word. Okay, it has its own significance later when we use component inside another component. Okay, but the thing that we should be aware of is it follows, LWC follows camel casing convention, which means the starting letter, the character of your file name should always be lowercase. Okay, so I'll just say contact role. Okay, that's it. I'm going to hit enter, and then automatically it just shows that, hey, this is where I'm going to put your lightning web component file, right? I can just choose this, or I can just use a different directory, but go with this. Okay, LWC. Okay, for various good reasons. Yeah, go with this. So now something is happening, right? Yeah, it says creating lightning web component. Lightning web component created successfully. right? So now you can just see these three files, correct? Besides that, as I said, right, bare minimum three files, but you'll also see some additional files which for now we can ignore because we are not talking about testing lightning web component. Okay, but these three files are essential. Okay, so you have HTML, you have JavaScript, you have something called a metadata.xml, that is CSS file missing, right? Yeah. So this is what we call bundle. Okay, yeah, there is a folder inside which you have the files created. Okay, and if you look at it, right, all the files carry the same name. All the files carry the same name: contact role, grid, contact role, grid, contact role, grid. Yeah. So this is again essential for Salesforce, um, for Salesforce to link the HTML and the JavaScript. Okay. Yeah. Typically what we do is, if I have to write a plain HTML and JavaScript, I will explicitly say that, hey, this is my JavaScript, this is my HTML, both should work together. Okay, but in lightning web component, remember, Salesforce, it's a framework that Salesforce, it's a JavaScript framework Salesforce has built and enhanced, right? So it's not a vanilla ice cream. On top of it, a lot of flavors added, correct? So Salesforce, did that. What Salesforce has done is, they have made this framework in such a way that, okay, when a bundle is created, when a Lightning Web Component is created, okay, so by having same file name for HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, okay, all the three files will work hand to hand, or will work together. Okay, yeah, will work hand in hand. Okay, will work together. You don't have to explicitly connect these files. Okay, so that is the reason Lightning Web Component is called component bundle in Salesforce ecosystem. Okay, yeah. Good, right? Yeah. So only simple thing to remember is, okay, I will have files. All the files will have the same file name. Okay. So try changing the file name to something else and then try to deploy. Okay. When you try your writing web component, right? And then see what error is coming. Okay. So I have these files, ready. Yeah. I have this JavaScript file as well. Right click. I'll just split this to the right. Okay. Yeah. And I'll have this one as well. Okay, so all these three files are essential. Okay, again, HTML is where I can able to create the UI, correct? So I want the image to be I want the image to be shown. I want text to be shown. I want another text to be shown in a different text, or I want a text to be shown with a different color, right? In a different color. All these things you will write it here, right here. Okay, JavaScript code, this is what we call, JavaScript controller file. Okay. Yeah. And this is where you write your actual logic. Okay. And this is going to control. Okay. Once you build a Lightning Web Component, this is more like, your what do you call? More like mm, 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 yeah, check post. Okay, yeah, a controller kind of. Okay, so this is going to help as a developer to make this lightning web component available for use. Okay, yeah. So as you see, right now it says it's exposed to false, correct? So what I'll do is, the first thing what I'll do is I'll say is exposed to, which means as a developer I'm saying that the component that I'm going to create, okay, is going to be used inside the arc. Okay, inside the org. So that's why I'm saying is exposed is true. Okay, yeah. Number two, what I'll do is I'll add one more one more tag in the meta.xml file. Okay, so you can just see this, right? This is the one that I'm going to add. Okay, so what does it do? So this target um, tag will help as a developer to control where exactly inside the org I can use this particular component. Yeah. So if I just when I just add this, you can just see all these things, right? Yeah. Okay, so you can just see this, all these are possible places where you can use this lightning web component. Okay, but what I want to do is, so we wanted to create this component to use it in opportunity page, correct? Which is basically a record page, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll remove everything. I'll remove. Okay. I'll keep it only this, which means this component, okay, this component can be used only in record page. So that's what we are configuring right here. Okay. So as a developer, what do we do? The moment you create a Lightning Web component, okay, you will decide, okay, where to expose this component. Okay. Yeah. So the meantime, okay, you can just see this, right? The component can be used as a tab or as a utility bar and inside a source flow screen as well. You can do it. Or when you build a community page, you can build this component and then use it there itself. Okay, so there are multiple places where you can use the component. Okay, yeah, for now I'm going to use this component inside the record page. Cool, right? Let's click on save. Perfect. So this is what you should be aware of. Number one, the naming convention. Camel casing, kebab casing, I'll come later. Yeah, the manifest file importance. So this is the manifest file. Okay, because your manifest file helps your component to be exposed. Number one, step one, right? Yeah. Step two, you are exposing the component to use it in the org, correct? But exactly in exactly in in uh, which place you wanted to use the component. It should you want to use it in the home page or record page or community page, you can certainly right decide on that. So this is where the manifest file really helps you. Okay, cool, right? So with this one, let's close this. Let's focus on the other two. Right, so this is where you will write all your business logic. Okay, yeah, all your business logic. So you will write your business logic, and this is where you build UI, build UI. Okay, yeah. So um there are few things you should be aware of. Okay, so typically, right, typically this is how HTML file will look like, isn't it? This is how the HTML code will look like, correct? Yeah, but what you see in our Lightning Web Component, it's different. I don't see the HTML tag. I don't see the body tag. I don't see the head tag, anything. Right? I simply see a tag called template. Right? Yeah. So so again, this is where Salesforce, it's helping us. Okay. Salesforce says that, okay, don't worry about adding the default HTML tags. Okay. Salesforce says that whatever UI that you want to build, you want to show a table, fine. You want to show a simple image, fine. You want to show an accordion, fine. You want to show a carousel, fine. Whatever it is, or button, text, whatever it is. So do everything inside this template. Okay, and then when this component is added or deployed in the org, Salesforce LWC framework will do a lot of things around this particular HTML. I'll show you after we deploy this, deploy this code, what happens. Okay, I'll show you. but but this is where you focus and then write your HTML code. The remaining things, Salesforce Lightning Web Component framework takes care of it for you. You don't have to break your head. You don't have to think about adding some constant tabs, etc., etc. Okay, everything is taken by Salesforce itself, so that I can only focus on writing my code and very quickly implement the business requirement. Okay, so uh, guys, can you confirm, is it still there? I see it says the screen start. No, all good, right? Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Are you sure the H1 tag is not working? Let's try that. Okay. Okay. This is a question from Ashish, right? Let's try that, Ashish. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Added that tag. Okay. This is what I wanted to see. Okay. So now my LWC component actually I created. I have not started writing any code. Okay. Let's deploy and then see what happens. Okay. Yeah. So the first thing, what did we learn? We did learn about LWC anatomy. So we call it bundle. Why are we calling it bundle? Because it has bunch of files. Correct. HTML, JavaScript, CSS you can create. Okay. And You have meta, you have manifest file, and we know the importance of manifest file now, correct? So without which you cannot expose your component to use it in org, correct? Perfect. So this is cool. The next thing is create component. We did that. We know how to create a component, right? We used VS Code, and then we used command palette, and then we use this command to create a web component, right? What is the next thing? I wanted to deploy this. I wanted to move this code, the simple one line code. Okay, one line code. I'll add one more, one more uh, okay, it's a property. Okay, at the end of the day, I'll just quickly show you this as well. Okay, at the end of the day, ignoring these two. Okay, it is nothing. Ignoring these two, ignoring this. Okay, it is nothing but a class. Nothing but a class. Okay, JavaScript class. Just like how you create an Apex class. A class can have methods, class can have properties, correct? Yeah, we are creating a JavaScript class. That's all we are doing it. Okay, so don't think it's the syntax is a little complex. No, that's not at all. It's simple. Class is what we are creating, but what we are doing is in addition, right? We are using inheritance. Okay, yeah, we are inheriting a base class. That's why we have this extends lightning element. Okay, this lightning element, it's actually a class written by Salesforce, not us, written by Salesforce. Okay, I'm saying that whatever component code that I'm writing, okay, I want that component to implement or inherit the lightning element base class. Okay, but I have to tell my JavaScript code, right, where to go and then find this lightning element, isn't it? So that is the reason I'm using this first line. I'm telling my code, hey, there is a class named lightning element, okay, which Salesforce created. Okay, and they have kept it under a module. Okay, yeah, called lightning web component. Module is nothing but bunch of JavaScript files. That's all it is. Okay, yeah. So it is kept. Use it so that I can able to refer that back in my line 3. That's all it is. Okay, and whatever code that we are writing, the class code, right? Okay, yeah, I want that to be used along with other lightning web component code, other the lightning other like other components in lightning. Okay, so that's the reason I'm making this export ready, this code. Okay, so that it can work along with the other components. Okay, there are much more deeper concepts, okay, hidden inside this import and export. Okay, but simply put, import is to you know is about refer. So this is more for refer code from other JS files. Okay, yeah, that's it. Extends extends is nothing but inherits inherits lightning element base JavaScript class. Okay, that's it. Okay, then export makes the code, makes the LWC code that we write. Okay, code we write to be used along with other LWC code or components. Okay, so this is pretty much what you can for now, given the in the interest of time, right? This is what we can very quickly remember. Yeah, cool. So now this is good, the VS code. Now I want to move this to one of my orgs, correct? Yeah. So this is where connecting to the org comes into the play. Okay. Yeah, because this is a standalone application running in my local laptop, correct? So what I do is right, to connect my VS code and the org, I go to view, same I go to command palette, look for authorize. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna click on authorize an org. Okay. Authorize an org. So now I'm trying to connect my VS code, okay, and the org, yeah, and Salesforce CLI behind the scenes is helping me. And what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna choose this production login.salesforce.com. I have a playground org, okay. which I'm going to connect with my VS Code. So I'll click on login.salesforce.com. It's asking me, can you give a friendly name to your org? Okay, I'll just say LWC uh, demo. Yeah, LWC July demo. Yeah, LWC July demo. I can give any, alias name. Okay, July demo. I'll click on enter. So now it's running a command behind the scenes, that Salesforce, CLI command. It will open up, yeah, a tab in the browser, correct? So right here, I can just, enter username password. Okay. Um, yeah, I can just use this one. Okay. And then I'll just log in. Okay. Yeah. So enter username and password and then click on login. Yeah, it's asking for the Salesforce CLI is asking for access. Yes, please do that. I want VS Code and this org to talk to each other. Authentication successful. Very nice. Now I can close this browser. Yeah, close this. I'll go back to the VS Code. Okay, it's still running. It will just give a success message very, very shortly. Okay, while we wait for the success message, right? Right below, you can just see this, right? This is the alias name that I had given when the authorized command was issued, right? LWC July demo, correct? So now if you see a connector, yeah, like this, next to this, next to your connector and then a name, org alias name, then your VS Code is talking to this org. Okay, how do I know? How do I validate? Very simple. There is a simple button right here, right? Open org. Click here. If it takes you directly to the org without asking any username and password, then you can be 100% certain that the org and VS Code are connected. So now that is what is happening. Yeah, I'm taken to the org, correct, without having to enter login and password. So perfect. That's it. Right? Cool. So this is nice. So now my VS Code and the org both are connected, isn't it? Yeah. So how do I move this code, this contact role grid? So I'll go here, go to the org. Let me first check for lightning components in the setup. I just wanted to see before I move this component, are there any existing components? That's what I wanted to see. Okay. There is something called CPQ panel, create error, blah, 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 but all are Aura, correct? Yeah. I don't have an existing lightning web component in this org, this 14b, correct? Yeah, that's not. What I'll do is I'll go to my component. Okay. Yeah. I can choose any file, HTML, JavaScript, whatever it is. Right click. You should see deploy this source to org. Okay. Yeah. So this is happening. This command is showing up because remember I already had this extension installed, the Salesforce extension pack. I was just showing, right? Okay, so remember these are the prerequisites. Okay, yeah. So this has to be installed so that when I go to any file and then right click, I can see this option. Okay, I'll just click on deploy this source to org. Okay, so when I say org, my VS Code and the org is already connected, correct? So my VS Code now knows to which org the code should be deployed or pushed. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. I just clicked on deploy to this org, deploy the source to org. Okay, I see some error message. I'm seeing success message, right? Created all the files, right? Yeah. So this is the advantage of bundling. Okay. So the files are connected. So when I just hit this particular option from the JavaScript file, Salesforce knows that it should move the HTML. It should also move the meta manifest file as well. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So let's cross check. Okay. Let's cross check whether this is moved or not. We'll refresh this. Yes. So now we have our Lightning Web component available in the org, correct? Yeah. So this is what we did, isn't it? Yeah. If I go back now and then this is what we did. We connected our VS Code and the org, right? We did create the component. We did deploy it. We just wanted to debug and test, correct? So we just added one simple UI. one header tag, correct? Yeah, question from Ashish. So let's see, let's go to this one. Okay, now I will go to the home page, or I'll go to the opportunity page. Sorry. Yeah, I'll go to one of the opportunities. Okay. Yeah, I want the contact role grid, right, to appear somewhere here. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see how we can able to add a component, lightning web component to the record page. Okay, I'll go to the settings, edit page. Once it is loaded, look for the components under contact, under this custom. Okay, let's close this. Let's drag and then drop it wherever you want the component to be, to be placed. Okay, I'll just put it on the top. Okay. Yeah, let's click on save. Okay, let's go back. I think we have to activate. First time I'm changing this record page. I'll activate this. Oh, this is org default, already org default. Okay, super. Then close, save again one more time, changes saved. Let's go back. Good. Question from Ashish is appearing, correct? But Ashish was right. It's not actually showing, uh, it's not actually using this H. So typically, if I use HTML, right, for example, this is what Ashish was, saying. So in this case, right, this is a plain HTML, like a plain vanilla ice cream, right? Yeah, there is a header, there is a paragraph. Let me click and then try out this. So the H1, right, big text, correct? Yeah, but but we kind of did the same. We used the same H1 tag, but it's not showing up this way. It's not showing up, showing this text in a much a bigger font or the text size, correct? Yeah. So that was the question from Ashish, right? Ashish had this question, isn't it? Yeah, right. So Ashish, this is because of SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System, that drives the font size, font color, all the all the stylings, right, that you see inside Salesforce is completely governed by SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System. Okay, so we will talk about that in the next 10 minutes. Okay, so that time I'll also elaborate more on that. But why you don't see this? Because of SLDS. Okay, SLDS is a default, the CSS framework from Salesforce. Inga, Talida, just 1 minute, guys. All right. Okay. So we'll talk about this SLDS very shortly. But to answer to this, Ashish's question, right? It's because of the SLDS impact. Okay. Yeah. All right. Uh, okay. Guys, hope my screen is fine. You're able to see it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, your screen is visible. Is
Super. Okay. Good. So now I know we just got the component created. We made sure the component is moved to the component is moved to the org, right? So from now on, whatever changes that I do, right? Close this, close this. Whatever changes that I do in my code, okay. So I can do the same. I can able to, right, deploy this the same way. Right click, make a change, save, deploy, then see the output. Okay, so we're going to do that again and again. Okay, so before we make any change, okay, there was one more development option that I did show, correct? Yeah, option one is what we are using now, okay, with all the software installed, right? Option two we have not discussed, correct? Option three, as I said, it's a licensed one, so we can't use it, yeah, for the training purpose. But option two, how does it work? There is a Chrome extension. Okay, this is the one. Yeah, so this comes handy when you develop a lightning web component code. Okay, how does it work? Very simple. When you are inside the org, yeah, when you're inside the org, ensure that this Chrome extension is added. Okay, in my case I've already added this to my Chrome, so in your case, if you have not done it already, just add it to your Chrome. Once it is added, you can come back to this, you can come back to this org. Okay, while you're in your org, okay, again, you have to be inside the org to get that extension working. Okay, you can click on your Chrome extensions. You can just see this, right? Yeah, so it's active, that's why it shows blue in color. Okay, this one, when you click, it automatically, right, it automatically gets logged into your, logged into your org. And also we'll just start, is it there? Yeah, so you can use this studio. Okay, so start creating, sorry, you can just start creating new components. Create a new component. I can just say hello world. Okay, whatever we did in the VS code, the same thing you can do. Okay, is exposed. I'll check this. I want this to be added in a, record page and home page. So basically this refers to the target. You remember the manifest file where we went in and then manually did it, correct? We manually added the targets, right? So this is done through a UI. Okay, that's it. I can say deploy. Okay, it's now showing me the same, file. And then you can create the file, deploy it, all such things, you can do it. Okay, yeah. So this is another way for doing the development. If you do not have any, if you do not have access to the software, correct? Yeah, then you can use this Lightning Studio to for your development. Okay, yeah. But but this is an extension, might not work in your company network, but for personal use you can very well, use it. Okay, yeah. So if you ask me, Lightning Studio, it's lightweight. Okay, this extension is lightweight. Okay, so you will find a lot of options only in the VS Code. So my personal choice is, right, option one. Okay, install all the necessary softwares. Okay, and then continue with your code. Okay, yeah, good. So with that, I think you have to move quickly to, I'll close this one, close this one, close this one. Nice. So we did add component to the lighting page. That's what we did, right? So this is where again manifest file, is playing its role, correct? So we went to the settings, clicked on edit page, then we just dragged and then dropped the component, correct? Yeah. So that's why you are just seeing it right here. And the next thing is data binding. Okay. So what is this data binding? Yeah. Very simple concept. Okay. So for example, our intention is, to bring something like this, correct? Yeah, something like this. But just think logically. In order for you to get an image, get the actual contact roles, right, contact roles, you need to go to the DB and then bring the list of contact roles and then show it on the screen, correct? Yeah. So you need a way to talk to Salesforce database when you write Lightning Web Component code. Yeah, once the data is retrieved from the database, correct? Yeah, you wanted to hand the data over to the HTML, so that in HTML image is shown and in the HTML the text is shown, correct? So that's how logically, right, we can think about the steps, correct? Yeah. So as I said earlier, it is your JavaScript. It's where you write the business logic. So this is where first thing is, what you do is make a call to Salesforce DB and get list of contact roles. Perfect, right? So JavaScript's job is that, it has to do that, correct? Number two, then share the data, okay, to the HTML, isn't it? To the HTML, right? To the HTML file basically. Yeah, share or bind the data. I'll use the term bind. Okay, to the HTML file. And what is it that we need to do in the HTML file? In the HTML file, the step 3 is, so this is step 1 and this is step 2. Okay. In step 3, what do we do? Okay. You just, um, access the contact roles data and display in a nicely formatted way. Correct. So this is what we have to do it logically. This is what we are going to do it. Correct. Yeah. So this is where the binding concept come into the play. So what does it mean, binding concept? Very simple. As I said, we are actually creating a simple JavaScript class. Just like Apex class, it's a JavaScript class. And just like in Apex class, we create methods, we create properties, all such things, right? So I can introduce properties. Okay, very simple. I can introduce properties. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll introduce a property, let's say title, something like this. Okay. Yeah, I'll just say contact role. Okay. Yeah, very simple. A simple property with a name, title, and I'm just saying that contacts, contact role is a hard coded value. Correct. Yeah. So now, how do I ensure, or how do I let my JavaScript share this value, this data, right, to my HTML? Okay. So in place of question from Ashish, what I want to do is I wanted to show this contact role. Okay. So this is where the data binding concept come into the play. So all I have to do is I have to use curly brace. That's it. Use curly brace, then copy this property name, put it right here. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay. Yeah. So this is the concept of data binding, which helps us, which helps us to share the, to bind a property value, to make a call to a function, whatever you want, whatever from the JavaScript you wanted to, bring it to the HTML. Use this data binding concept, which is fairly easy to implement. Just use curly brace and then, put that appropriate property name, method name, whatever it is. Okay, I can do that. I can create a method. I can create a function inside the class. I can just say click me, or let's say print name. Yeah. So I can just say LWC demo. Yeah. So now I can actually call this method as well, this class method as well, right here, using data binding. What I can do is, let's say I have a button. Okay. Okay. So I want on click of the button. Okay. So this particular method to be called. How do I do that? Very simple. Use curly brace and then put that name right here. That's it. So this is the concept of data binding. Okay. That's exactly what I'm going to use it, so that the moment that the information is coming from the database, right, I can pass it on to the HTML. Okay. So now we realize, the we realize the concept, we understand the concept of data binding, right? So bringing something from the JavaScript, binding it to the HTML, we use this data binding concept. Okay, cool. So let's deploy and then see, whether it works or not. Okay, I'll click right click. I'm gonna click on deploy. Super, it's been deployed now. Let's go back to the org. All I have to do is just refresh this. Now you can just see this contact role, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't give any value, name, nothing. I think that's the reason it is not showing up. I can in fact use an HTML buttons as well. HTML type equal to button. Hmm. I can do this. Did I mess up something? Any additional tag is there? Let's cross check. No, just right click and then deploy and see what happens. Invalid HTML tag. Where is this open tag with no closing tag? Oh I'm sorry. I think this tag is missing. See, somehow I deleted the tag. Okay, now this should work. Good. Now it's done, right? Cool. Anyways, so now let's quickly cross. So now we did this. We did use this data binding concept, and then we brought some value, correct, from the JavaScript to to the HTML, correct? Yeah. So now let's take it to the next level. Okay. Actually, this is what we wanted to do, isn't it? I wanted to make a call to a Salesforce database and then get list of contact roles, correct? So in Salesforce Lightning Web Component Framework, correct? There are multiple ways in which you can able to do it. Okay, yeah. Um, Sorry, yeah, that I just missed that. Yeah. Um, Super. So this is what we wanted to do, correct? Yeah. So when we talk about bringing Salesforce data, correct? Salesforce data from the Salesforce, database, correct? Um, Salesforce is giving you multiple options. Okay, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a framework built by Salesforce. Remember what do I mean by framework? What do we mean by framework? Framework is nothing but set of some reusable, functions, methods are available so that we can able to accelerate our development. Correct. So what Salesforce has done is right. Um, they have built something called. This is what we just did, data binding. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Working with Salesforce data. So what Salesforce has done is, Salesforce says that okay, you can create your own Apex method. Okay, yeah, yeah, you can write your own Apex method, and Salesforce says that I will help you to access your Apex method. Okay, access your Apex method. Yeah, so that your Apex method will return some data which you can use it, which you can use it in your JavaScript and then bind it to the HTML. Okay, how is that possible? Yeah, it is possible. There is a there is something called wire adapters. Okay, so we are going to use this the first option of wire adapters. Okay, yeah. So typically, why do we use adapters at our home? Correct. Yeah. So we use adapters so that we can able to plug in one socket. Sometimes we use this flat pin, right? Flat pin, and then we wanted to which doesn't fit in our normal sockets, correct? So we use adapters, correct, to convert that into a round pin. Or sometimes we wanted to we wanted to uh, we use adapters to convert a 2 pin into a 3 pin. Okay, just like that wire adapters, right, are going to help us to make a call from your lightning web component JavaScript to an Apex. Okay, and then bring the data. Okay, so let's try to implement the step one. Yeah, how do you do it in the interest of time? We just have 10 minutes, right? What I'll do is I will just show you how it's done. Okay, the very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the command palette. I'm going to create an Apex class. Just like how we created lightning web component, I'm going to create a new Apex class. Create Apex class, enter. Okay, I'll give a name. We'll just give opportunity helper. Okay, that's the name of my Apex class. Enter. Again, by default it's going to get stored in this directory because the project is organized, right, where classes are grouped in one folder, LWCs are grouped in another folder, right? So now this is the file. Perfect, correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a code. Simply write a code. Okay, I already have written the code. uh, this is a very 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 simple code. Okay, not complex at all. Okay, so I have a method named get contact roles. It takes opportunity ID as input, and it will go and then query the opportunity contact role object and then bring all the opportunity contact roles. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's what it's going to do. Okay, so if you remember the output, right, we need one image, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is to ensure that there is an image attached to each contact. Okay, I'll go to contacts very quickly and then create a custom field. Okay, to maintain the contact image URL. Okay, so I'll do it very quickly. So this is URL. I'll just say contact image. Okay, that's it. Click on visible. Next, save. Okay, of course I just made that particular custom field visible for all the profiles, but never do that in your production. Okay, in production always set the field level of security appropriately. Okay, yeah. Anyways, so now this is the one that's going to bring me the list of contact roles. I'll copy this. I'll just try to test this once. Okay, if it's working or not. I'll go to dev console, just running that query. Wow, a lot of contact roles, right? Opportunity contact roles, correct? So I think I need to also ensure that the opportunity ID is included. Equal to, I can just put any opportunity ID that will give me only those opportunity ID. Perfect. Okay, there is only one. Cool. So this is working. I think I did not have this condition right here. So where opportunity ID equal to colon, we will just pass on this particular value. That's it. Yeah. So now my code is ready. Yeah, my this code is ready, right? Okay. So this is cool. I'll right click and then deploy and then see what happens. Cool. So now my Apex class is ready. This is going to bring me code, bring me data from the database. So this is what I wanted to use back in my JavaScript. Correct? Back in my Java. How do I do that? As I said, Salesforce will help you. Okay, will help you. Salesforce says that simply use import. Okay, yeah. So as I said, you can able to refer code, all such things, right? Yeah, using import. So what you can do is you can able to import this particular method, get contact roles. Okay, from Salesforce says that don't worry, I have written a lot of reusable code for you, lot of helper code for you. One such helper module or a package is Salesforce Apex. So this provides access to all the Apex classes. Okay, including the ones that we have just created. So I'll just say @Salesforce Apex slash the opportunity helper. Okay, dot get contact roles. That's it. Okay, so the moment I'll close this one. Yeah, the moment you import this code, okay, which means it is available for your lightning web component to start using it. Okay, so let's see whether this is happening or not. So we have written the Apex code. We wanted to call this Apex code in our JavaScript, correct, in our lightning web component JavaScript, so that I can able to bring all the roles, right? So I'll right click now, deploy, and then see what happens. There is an error. It says that unable to find Apex action method referenced as blah blah blah, this one. Okay, it's not able to recognize this code. Okay, that's the problem. Why? Because for you for you to access any Apex methods inside a lightning web component, okay, you have to annotate that particular method with aura enabled. Just have this annotation aura enabled. That's it. Okay, so when you do that, the error will be gone. Okay, which means your function is no longer a simple function. It's a special function it's going to be used inside a lightning web component. So it has to be aura enabled, and in this case, which is we are simply, yeah, we are simply using a select query, right? Let cacheable equal to true. Okay, so that this output gets cached, and it's going to be improve the performance. Okay, so now let's right click, deploy this. So now this is no longer a simple function but a special function that can be used or accessed inside the lightning web component. So I'll go to lightning web component, right click, and then deploy. Just see whether the error is gone or not. It's gone. Correct. Perfect. So now this is how you are able to refer a method. Correct. You are able to refer a method inside refer an apex method inside this I'll certainly answer all these questions in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, we'll extend this meeting by 10 minutes so that we can able to implement this entire entire code. Okay, yeah. So now this is done. Step one is done. Correct. Yeah. But is it done? No, partially done. Why do I say partially done? Because I just referenced this code. I did not call this code at all, isn't it? How do I call this code? Okay, so this is where the life cycle hooks come into the play. Okay, yeah. So it is more like a set of methods that gets automatically called, whether you like it or not. Okay, whenever you create a class, okay, there are certain methods. Remember the constructor. Okay, a constructor gets created, gets called all the time, right? When a class object is created, just like that in JavaScript, whenever a class is created, there are set of methods that always gets called. Okay, yeah. Like when the page is loaded, one is called, yeah. So we have lifecycle hooks. So that's what lifecycle hooks talks about. Okay, so we have methods like connected callback. We have methods like disconnected callback. We have method like rendered callback. It's not necessary that you have to write any code into it. It's not even necessary that you have to include that unless it is necessary. Okay, but behind the scenes, okay, behind the scenes, these methods are always called. When you write any code in which into this one, it just gets executed. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do it. Okay, so this connected callback gets always called whenever your component is added to a page, to an html, to a page, right, record page. Always it gets called the moment your component is added. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so it gets called code that you write. Okay, gets called, or it's called whenever the component is added to the HTML page. Okay, when you move away from this page, when I click on this another tab, right, code. Okay, I want certain code to get I want certain code to get executed. So that time you can use disconnected callback. Code that you write here, okay, gets called whenever whenever you move away from the page. Okay, whenever a component is is moved away. Okay, yeah. So rendered callback for every refresh. Okay, every refresh of your component, the every change in your component. Okay, the rendered callback gets called. Okay, so in this case, I want this list of contact roles to get loaded when this page is loaded. Correct, I want the list of contact roles to be loaded. Correct. So which means the ideal place to write my code is connected callback. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do it. And again, Salesforce is going to help me. Okay, yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have another method. Okay, method to call contact roles. Okay, yeah. How do I do it? So let's say fetch contact roles. So this is the method. Okay, inside which what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to simply make a call to the method. Okay, so this get contact roles is nothing but the one that I referenced here. You can just see this, right? This one, get contact roles. So I'm just saying that call this contact role. Okay, yeah, call this contact role, send opportunity ID. Okay, yeah. So two things can happen when you line number 44, when you make a call to this particular apex method. One, the apex method can give you an error, or it can give you the data, correct? So for that purpose, what I'm going to do is, so basically I'm using JavaScript promise. And this is the reason I said we need to have knowledge about certain features in Java, certain, certain JavaScript concepts like promise. Use JavaScript to get data from the server, or let's say from the Apex method. Okay. Get contact role, send the opportunity, ID. Two things can happen. Dot then. Okay. So this is like, um, uh, write code to process data received. Okay. Otherwise, catch, dot catch. Okay, right code to process errors. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Why is this happening? I have, an AA plugin installed. That's why, it's automatically writing code for me. Sometimes it's annoying, but a lot of times it helps. Okay. Anyways, process errors, if any. Okay. So this is the syntax, in fact, for promise. Okay. Yeah. If you look at the final code, and if you don't know promises, right, in JavaScript, you feel that okay, this syntax is too complex to write. But ideally, right, if you just break it down at a lower level, okay, yeah, break it down at a lower level, you can find it easy to understand. Okay, yeah, all right. So I'll quickly go here and I'll bring the code. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do it. I will give you the code. Okay, so basically I'm using JavaScript promise and arrow functions. Okay, and arrow functions. So to understand this particular piece of code, we certainly need knowledge about, you know, JavaScript promises and functions. Of course, in the interest of time, right, we cannot go deep into, how the syntax works, all such things. Okay, yeah. Anyways, so this is where the opportunity ID is sent, okay, which I'm it to explain. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get the result. If I have a bunch of contact roles, so it's going to come and then sit in this result. I'm just simply going to assign that to a property. So what I don't have now is contact role. I copy this contact roles. I'll just say contact roles, so holds list of contact roles from from retrieve from Apex. Okay, retrieve from Salesforce DB. Okay, yeah, good, right? So this will hold the data for me. Perfect. Yeah, and if there are any error, I just wanted to print it in the console. That's all I wanted to do it. Okay, so this is how this code has been translated, into this. Perfect, right? But this is the missing piece. How am I sending the opportunity ID? Correct? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another property called record ID. Okay, yeah. So this holds the opportunity ID for me. Okay, so what I'm saying is whatever value that is going to be assigned to this record ID, I want that to be passed right here. Okay, so now always use this key parameter. Okay, so you have to use this you have to refer all the properties, all the functions inside the JavaScript class using this variable. Okay, yeah. This refers to the current class. That's all it is. Okay, yeah. You are saying that inside this class there is a property named record ID. Access the value and then use it right here inside the class. I'm going to do the same. Okay, the connected callback, I'm just going to say inside this class using this operator, right? So this dot inside this class, there is a method called fetch contact role. Call that method whenever the component is loaded in the page. That's all it is. So the moment line number 33 hits, right, it will call this method. It will in turn go and then call that apex method by passing this opportunity ID, and the result will be stored in the contact row. That's it. I'll remove this one, or I'll just comment this one. Super, right? Yeah. So we just implemented the step one as well, right? Bringing data from the database and then keeping that data right now preserved in the contact role. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the HTML. Okay, I'll remove all these things. Okay, remember the data binding concept? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll use same h1, and then we'll just use contact rows and then see what would be the output. Okay, we are going to get. Yeah. So this is my JavaScript, right? So in the JavaScript, there is a property that holds the list of contact rows. I just wanted to print that out and then see what values are going to come from the DB. Yeah, perfect, correct. So this is what we just did. I'll quickly summarize. Okay, we just tried to accessing Salesforce data. There are other ways as well. So in your further journey in Lightning Web Component, explore this as well. Record view form, etc., etc. So all these methods are going to help you fetch data from the DB. Okay, yeah. So we did see that lifecycle hooks. You know, so this is the way how the life cycle hooks works. Okay, but at a high level, okay, so whatever code that you write inside the connected callback gets called whenever the component is loaded. Whenever the component data changes, okay, immediately rendered callback gets called. Whenever you leave from that page, the component gets deregistered, so that's when the disconnected callback happens. Error callback, when the component is having some issues, you can able to find, write a code inside this and then collect the data, error data, all such things you can do. Okay, yeah, that's lifecycle hooks. So when you do actual implementation, right, you have to think where exactly you want to write a code. At times you don't really require this lifecycle hooks at all. That's fine. Okay, it's not necessary that you always have to use hooks. Okay, but in this case it makes sense because I want to load something, I want to show something on the page load, correct? So that's why I'm choosing connected callback to call this method. Okay, yeah, we did see that. Now this is going to open up another concept called the public properties. Okay, what does it mean? So now the question is, I have added this component right here, which is cool, right? Yeah. Now the point is, how does this component know, hey, this is the opportunity ID? You can just see this, right? This is the current opportunity record, okay, for which I have to go and then find the contact roles. How does this Lightning Web component understand or know this record ID? Correct? Yeah. So this is where another concept, very, very simple concept called public properties come into the play. So remember, we decided in line number 20, there is a property which is going to hold the opportunity ID for me, correct? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate, I'm going to use API as a prefix. Okay. So what it means is it changes, the nature of the property from a private property to a public property. What does it mean? Holds this opportunity ID. Okay. Other API. Okay. Makes it as public property. Number two. Okay, makes it as public property. Number two. Okay, which means which means it's looking for data from outside. Okay, yeah, from outside of this, outside as in outside of this lightning webcom. So basically you are giving input. Okay, yeah, it's giving input to this lightning web component. Okay, so that's the reason I'm making this property as a public property. Okay, when I introduce at the rate API, I have to tell Salesforce Lightning Web on a framework that can you give me your uh, your decorators. Okay, at the rate your decorator APIs. Okay, API is a decorator. Okay, so that I can use it in my code. Okay, so there is a bunch of code written already by Salesforce. Okay, it's all abstracted. All we have to do is simply we can just use this API just like this. Okay, so now what happens is the record ID, the moment you have this line number 20, right, added in your Lightning Web component code, and you add this component to the page, Lightning Web component Lightning record page understands this. Okay, so Rajesh has written a code, okay, with a property name record ID, which is a public property. So automatically the Lightning record page will send record ID to the component. Okay, so to prove that, what I'm going to do is I'll copy this, use data binding. Okay, I'll just say op ID colon colon, within this curly brace I'll just put this right here. That's it. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I just did save everything. I'll right click and deploy and then cross check. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's go and then refresh the page and then see the output, whether this works or not. Mm, something is wrong. Let's see whether there is any error or something. It's an object, that's why it is not there. Okay. I can do this right here. Console.log of id colon plus this dot record id. Let's try that. Okay. I'll also put this inside the connected callback. Okay. We just wanted to see whether the page is sending this information or not. Okay. Yeah. Id. Let's right click and then deploy. Uh, is it okay if we can extend the session for another 5 or 10 minutes? If it's okay, I'll continue. Otherwise, I'll just uh, quickly skip through some of the concepts and then we can wrap up the call if it is okay with everyone. Yes, okay. Is it okay, John? No, yeah, it's okay, right? Super. Oh, thank you so much. I see a lot of X's. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Good. Okay. All right. Let's deploy this one more time and then we'll go back and then refresh. Okay. Let's refresh this page. And sometimes, right, your writing web component gets cached. Okay. It won't reflect your changes. Don't worry. Go to inspect mode, right click. This one on the top, you have this refresh button, right? Yeah. Right click. Okay. And you will see these three options. Okay. You don't generally see these three options. Okay. You will see these three options only when you go into the inspect mode. When you're in inspect mode, you can right click this and then empty cache and hard reload. So what happens is your lightning web component gets reloaded. Okay. Yeah. And now you are seeing the output, right? Yeah. So sometimes lightning web component will test your patience. Don't worry. Okay. You have this output. So now you see this. I didn't write any code. I just simply enabled a public property, correct? And then I just gave a property name record ID. So this is a reserved property. Okay. So this record ID is a reserved property. Okay. Reserved property in Lightning Web component. Okay. So through which, okay, your Lightning record page automatically shares current page record ID to. Okay, so this is happening automatically. Okay, so that's the advantage. Okay, because that's how Salesforce LWC framework is built. Okay, so I have the record ID, and which is what I'm just passing it right here. Okay, but what I don't see is I don't see any contact rows. That is okay because it is going to give me bunch of record, right? That's the reason. What I'll do is I'll do this console.log of this dot contact rows. So I just wanted to print the value. This is how you do it in the in JavaScript. You use console.log. Okay, I'll use JSON.stringify because the list of data that is going to come from the data set is the object format. I want to convert that into a text so that it gets shown in the console. Okay, I'll simply use JSON.stringify. That's it. Right click, deploy. Okay. Perfect, it is done. But before we go forward, right, I'll just add a contact role, to this one. Add contact role. I just need at least one data. Oh, there is no contact. Interesting. Okay, let's quickly set up the data. I'll go to the account Oxford Furnitures, right? Let's go to that account. Let's create a couple of contacts and then we can come back and then add give roles. Okay. Contacts, new. Let's say Mr. John Peter. Okay, so we'll give some title, let's say is a CEO. Okay, yeah, department executives. Save. I'll add one more, one more. Sorry, I'll add one more contact. Let's use one of our friend's name. Yeah, let's say Neeraj, Mr. Neeraj Sharma. Yeah. So let's have some mobile number. Let's say he's global uh, head sales. Okay, a department. Let's say sales. Okay. Let's click on save. Good, right? So now I'll go to the opportunity. Let's go and then add a contact role. Okay, add contact role. So I have John and I have Neeraj, right? So I'll bring next. Okay. So John's role is certainly a decision maker. Yeah. Neeraj is my executive sponsor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now whoever is managing this opportunity, right, should always talk to, should try to reach out to John or try to reach out to Neeraj, correct? So Neeraj is the executive sponsor, correct? So if Neeraj is convinced, this opportunity will soon be uh, soon be won, right, in our favor, correct? Anyways, so I'll refresh this page, okay, and see if this particular code is working or not. Okay, line number 62. Right click first, deploy, just to cross check, just to ensure that this is ended. Yeah, perfect. Let's go back here. Let's refresh. And whenever you write console.log, yeah, go to inspect console, you will find this. So which means the data is coming from the database, which is perfect. I have the ID, I have the opportunity ID, role, contact ID, contact role. Perfect. All things, everything is good. Now all I have to do is I have to give, I have to do the UI I so that I can able to show this data. Where is this data? So right now the data from the database is in this format, correct? Yeah. How do I convert that into a nice and consumable format in the UI, correct? So this is where the lightning base components come into the play. Okay, which is the last one. Okay, the UI design. Okay, so UI design is very very important because the data coming from the database, it's not in the format to directly show it to the user, correct? Yeah. So that's the reason we have to make some UI design, correct? For that purpose as well, Salesforce has given you a lot of components, predefined components. Okay, so what you can do is yes, you can just see this, right? I'll go to Lightning Web Component version. Okay, what Salesforce has done is, right, they have built a lot of components for you. Okay, yeah, and this is the place where you can. We will share you the deck so that you don't have to worry about the link. Okay, so if you can use lot of components that Salesforce has already built, and the term that Salesforce uses is called base components. Okay, so all these base components will help you. One simple example I'll give. You want to create a button, yeah, something like this, a colorful buttons. Of course you can do it without writing much code. Salesforce says that use this lightning button. Okay, and then Salesforce says that use certain parameters like attributes. Okay, and then create buttons of your choice. Okay, yeah. If you want to show a table, Salesforce says that, okay, don't worry, I have something called lightning data table. Just send your data to this data table. Okay, lightning data table, send this data. Okay, the next time when you see this curly brace, remember it's a data binding, correct? The data is coming from the database, from the JavaScript basically, right? So in the JavaScript there is this data, correct? Yeah. So this is what is binded to the HTML, and the data table will take care of showing this in this format. This is the output that you will get. Sometimes I want to show a nice icon. Okay, how do I do it? That is also possible. I want a button with icon, so I can use lightning button icon. Okay, yeah, so this will show me small icons, something very easy to use. Yeah. So all these things are possible with the lightning based component. That is what we are going to use it right here. Yeah. So in our case, I wanted to design my page, something like this, correct? Yeah. I want a, a white background with a title, correct, contact roles, correct, and then images, and then I want a text, correct. So for that purpose, what we can do is we can use a combination of three components. Okay. One is lightning card. So if you use lightning card, this one component, right, it will show output something like this with a border, with a text. I can just put something like I can do something contact. I can change, and this will reflect on the page on this one. Okay, on the, yeah. I don't need this button. I can remove this. Okay, yeah. So you can just see how it changes. Okay, whenever you change, I'm going to use exactly this back in my code, lightning card. I'm going to also use something called lightning layout. Okay, because I wanted to show this in a grid format, right? Yeah. So something like this. There are some other options as well. You will see the code. Most likely we will copy the code and then make some tweaks in the actual production, actual implementation, customer implementation. I'll use lightning layout item, and also I'll use tiles, lightning tiles together. Okay, to get this done. So what I'll do is I'll simply go. I already have this code. Okay, so I'll copy this one. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm doing this. Okay, if we have time, I could take you through each and every line of the code, but anyways. Okay, so explore this base components. That's the message. Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So in this case, I'm using a loop. Okay, I'm using a for loop here. Okay, why am I using for loop? Because there is more than one contact role, isn't it? Yeah. And we know that the contact role is preserved, or the data is available in this contact roles. So if you look at this line number 12, I'm saying that for each contact role, you have to create a div, and then get the image shown, create another div, show the contact role name, title, email, etc., etc. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do it. So I'll save this. Let's see the output, and then we can just resume and then dissect some of the code. Okay, so before I move forward and then do anything, I wanted to ensure an image URL is added so that a nice image will be shown. Okay, I have this random user. This is a public and open, this is an open API. Okay, so I can generate any random image. Okay, so I can give any number, and accordingly it will generate a random image. So I'm just going to use this. Okay, for John, and where is this contact image? I'll just use this URL. That's it. Save. So we do have one more contact, right? Neeraj. For Neeraj, I'll use a different contact image. 21. Let's see what shows up. Okay, perfect. So image is done. So all I have to do is now go back to the code. Okay, I'll right click, deploy. I think I did not save it. I'll save it, right click, and then deploy. Okay, deployment is completed. Perfect. Let's go back and then check whether this works or not. I'll go to this opportunity page. I'll right click. I'll refresh, but I wanted to clear the cache. So I go to the inspect mode, then right click this refresh button, empty cache and hard reload. Now you can just image, for some reason it is not working. Why? Okay, we'll cross check. But at least, right, we got this output, correct? I'll remove these three. Okay, so that you will find, I'll remove these three. I'll just put it in the comment this out. Okay, so that lightning card addition, good. So we'll right click, we'll deploy this now. Cool. We'll right click, we'll just refresh this page and then see whether this is gone. So we got this one except the image, right? Something wrong with the image. Uh, contact image. First thing first, let's go and then check whether we did receive that, yeah, we did. See, it is actually, not whitelisted. That's why it is not, allowing me. What I'll do is I'll very quickly whitelist this because we are accessing a third-party link, right, inside Salesforce. So it won't allow. So we'll just go and then, make that random, this as, this one as trusted random user.me, correct? Let's copy that. Let's put it right here. Random user, or yeah, that's HTTPS random user, isn't it? Yes, random user. Okay, I believe now it should work. Just ensure everything is, if everything is there, save. Perfect. Just whitelisted this random URL. Now let's go back and then refresh this page. Still, it's not accepting. But anyways, no, it should work, right? Just 1 second. We'll just see. Anyways, so instead of going through this, but at least we got the output, correct? The image is not showing. Again, we can just play around with CSP and the trusted URLs and then make it work, but you can just see the output, correct? Yeah. How did we achieve this? Two things, right? One is we did see there are plenty of components available, Salesforce build components, which we can use it, correct? Which we can use it to build our UI, correct? Not only that, how did I manage showing something, in bold? How did I manage to, show certain spacing, all such things, right? So this is where Salesforce, Lightning Design System comes into the play. Okay. So your Salesforce, it's a CSS framework, okay, from Salesforce, proprietary from Salesforce, okay, and whatever colors that you see in Salesforce today, right, be it anywhere, the consistent blue header, the consistent fonts is everything, right? Everything is defined is driven by the SLDS, CSS, okay, yeah. So this is the one, okay, this is the one, and you will find a lot of CSS classes just like Bootstrap from Twitter, right? So this is the one that is going to help you. If you go to the code, this is what going to help you to give proper spacing, proper text. Everything is driven through this SLDS, and this is the reason at the start of the call, right, Ashish was saying why Rajesh the H1 tag was not working the way it is supposed to work, right? Because SLDS takes the precedence, okay, that takes the precedence. That is the reason some of the tags, right, are not the default tags are not working as expected, okay. So if you want to give a new look to your text, a different color, font size, etc., always go with SLDS, okay. You can find everything right here, okay. Maybe I'll just put this one SLDS yam around just to show you, okay, what this does. So if you go, if you'll be taken to the Lightning Design System site. and you can find examples what happens when you use this particular style to your HTML. Okay, yeah. So that's pretty much okay about SLDS. You will find a lot of other things right here. You will have icons, free icons available, which we can use it as is in your code, and that is what is used in our code as well. If you look at it, there is an icon, there is an handshake icon, right? Where did it come from? If you go to the code, there is something called icon name custom 14. Okay, so you can find that right here, custom 14 handshake. Okay, so which means automatically, these things are connected. Okay, when you build lightning web component, okay, you don't have to specify anything, anything addition. Okay, everything is connected. All you have to do is understand how these, files are, how to use, how to use icons, how to use this base components, all such things, right, in your code. Okay, so with that, I know it's we are over and by 30 minutes. I'm so sorry about it, but I hope you would have found this helpful, right, to get a hang on to the key concepts that one should be aware of in lightning web component. Okay, so this is what we did. We talked about anatomy, we talked about creating components, we talked about adding component to lightning page. We did bind the data using this, curly brace property method. Yeah, property. Yeah, and we did see a concept of public properties, correct, through which how lightning web component receives data from the lightning record page. Then we did talk about the lightning, web cycle hooks through which the code is controlled. Yeah, then working with Salesforce data, multiple options. We did try first option, correct, and then UI design, where you can just see the lightning design, lightning design system, base components, all such things, correct. Good. So with that, we have a lot of reference links to get going from here. Okay, yeah. So you have this recipes, you have this playground, you do have, other application completely built in lightning web component. Okay, you have this ebix application. Okay, so just give me 1 minute, guys. So sorry, guys. Yeah. So you will find a complete, complete code. Okay. You will find the instructions on how you can able to know how you can download and then run the code, etc. Okay. So as a next step, if you want to get going with your Lightning Web Component journey, use these links. Okay. Try your try the code on your local and then see how it works. Okay. So with that, I will take questions. Yeah, it's possible. Yes, we will be sharing this. Yeah, trust URL I tried, for some reason it's not working, but anyways. um, all right, any other questions? When do we need to use connected callback? As I said, when the component is loaded, more like a page load, you write your code in the connected callback, like opening a connection to the database, bringing data, all such things. Okay, yeah. um, what are the best practice we must remember when implementing LWC components? There is a link given, okay, in the deck. Okay, you can certainly refer, Neeraj. Okay, yeah. um, so when it comes to best practices, all right, that's already replied, I believe. I got the answer, perfect. Okay, is it necessary to write test classes for LWC? No, not really. So far it is no. Okay, yeah. Apex classes, yes, we typically do it, right, for code coverage, right, but LWC, it is not, it is still optional. Salesforce has not made it to mandatory because a lot of projects using still, or in Aura and Lightning VF page. Once I believe, everybody is on Lightning Web Component, I believe, Salesforce may make it as a mandate, but right now it's not, it's not mandatory. But feel free to do it or encourage your team to test your Lightning Web Component. Okay, but it's completely optional now. Okay, yes, so we have to build projects, correct, yeah. So for that reason, Rakesh's question, right, so these links will help you. So you have a couple of projects, e-bikes, you have a project, built in dream house, everything, is available. So you have a lot of code samples as well. Okay, you can find this right here, just like this. So go to this force app, you can find the find a lot of code snippets. But don't worry. Okay, you don't have to directly start from here. If you go to the home page, you will find the complete instructions how you can able to get this code downloaded, how to run everything. Step by step instruction is given right here. Okay, so try to do more projects, at least 2 projects, so that you get completely comfortable with lightning web component development. Okay, yeah. So with that, I'm good to wrap up this session. I'm so sorry again for keeping this session extended for 30 more minutes. Yeah, over to you, John.
Thank you, Rajesh sir, for giving the time, and thank you for the informative session. It is very
Thank you so
useful
much.
for me and for many trailblazers.
Thank you
Once
so much.
again, thank you for giving time in your weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.